Well, I'm having a bit of a clear out, and there's a few cordless drills here that are not worth repairing, and I thought I might share a few thoughts on them with you. This one I'll leave till last. These three here, there's two Ryobis and a Makita, and they're all between 15 and 20 years old, so they're not serviceable anymore. So it's a waste of time repairing them, and they all came with NiCad batteries, incidentally, and most of those have gone on now. They're just way past their best by date. This was a nice drill, and it had a bit of a fall from a roof, and probably 30 or 40 foot, and that cracked it, but it carried on working, and basically it's going in the bucket because there's nothing more to be done with that, without any regrets, incidentally. And the same with this one here, and this is a very old Ryobi. I mean, look how polished it is on the handle, and that one came in a set of two drills, a bigger. This was the smaller of the two, but yeah, it's fine. It did loads of work, and this was a slightly newer one, slightly newer Ryobi, and 2010. Yeah, and that was fine. That's done loads and loads of work, and it's a very good drill. For the money, Ryobi were very good at value, and I know they're a DIY brand, and I had no right really to expect them to survive on site for as long as they did, and you know, so I'm a bit sad to have to throw them away, but there it is. They really have done their dash. They don't owe me anything. This is a chuck I took off a corded Hitachi drill, and I think I can safely say that that is the worst chuck I've ever come across, and I can't wait to get rid of it. So that's definitely going in the bucket. And this drill is a huge disappointment, really. And when I came to the end of the Ryobi stuff, which is so old, I just can't keep it going. And it's not like I've repaired any of it, I haven't. But it just wouldn't be worth it. But this one here, I replaced the Ryobi stuff with Trend stuff quite recently, you know, about maybe a year and a half ago. And to be honest, I haven't had much call to use it. So this one here is still like new in everything except the fact that it no longer works, or doesn't work properly anyway. So guess what? Before chucking it in the bucket, I removed the chuck, which was a very nice all metal Jacobs chuck, and I put it on that Hitachi drill I was just talking about. And so that's rescued a Hitachi, but there's no point in trying to rescue this. The first time I used it on its hammer action to put a 6mm rule plug into a house brick, in other words a soft brick, it just collapsed in a load of stink and smoke, and that was the end of it. So now you can't use it with it on any of its various modes without it smoking and smelling, and I sent it back to Trend, but it was about a week after the guarantee ran out, maybe 2 weeks, and yeah, I hadn't registered it online for its extended warranty, so they wouldn't fix it. They sent it back to me, so I'm going to send it off to the dump because that's where it belongs. It's ridiculous, done nothing, really no work at all. Now I just want to share a few thoughts with you on various other makes. You see, I had actually bought quite a bit of trend stuff, and that's the impact driver, which so far has been fine, and that's a 4-inch grinder, which came with a 5 amp hour battery and a charger, and I also got a see if I can see it up there, circular saw as well, which looks quite substantial, and I think that's got a laser on it, and I've only used it once since I've had it, so I don't know how that's going to go, and you never do these days, that's the problem. So before I got the trend stuff, I got some Bosch stuff here, and started replacing the Ryobi gear with this 18 volt Bosch system, and these two have been okay. This one's starting to get a bit smelly now. I must have had that for 8 years, I suppose. To be honest, can't really remember how long I've had that, but for a while. But they've been fine. The charger malfunctioned at one point, and I got that back to Bosch, and they fixed it and sent it back to me without charging me. And since then, it's been fine. And so I thought, well, I've always traditionally bought Bosch tools, and I got quite a lot of 240 volt stuff over there. And so there's a little, palm router thing, and a jigsaw, because Bosch were the name in jigsaws at one point, and that's an impact driver, and above it there's a little 10 volt cordless set of combination drill and impact driver, and circular saw there. And down on the ground, looking a bit neglected, is a 12-inch angle grinder, and it's all blue stuff, all of it. And the blue stuff is described as being professional. There you go. And so I thought that I'd stick with that. And even though I'd had 1 or 2 issues with the 240 volt stuff, and notably with a 4-inch pad sander, which flew to bits in a couple of weeks, and I fixed it once and it broke again, and so I just replaced it with a Makita. I can, when you're in the middle of doing a job, you just can't muck about. You just got to get something else. And I thought, well, it's obviously something wrong, with this tool. I had to get something else. So I got a Makita, and I still got it, and that was about 10 years ago. I think these probably slightly less. Anyway, when I wanted a cordless 4-inch grinder, needless to say, I went straight for the Bosch one, and here it is. And I bought this, I think, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that. And I picked it up one day, and it wouldn't go. It just didn't work. Nothing, absolutely dead. Now I always thought the on-off switch was a bit weird, because you sort of got to press it down at this end and then sort of push it forwards. I can't even do it one-handed, I don't think. And then you got to push it down at the top end of it to lock it in. And it never seemed to me to be quite right. So when it wouldn't function, I kind of suspected the on-off switch. Now, had I been able to find the receipt for it, I would have sent it back to Bosch, but I couldn't. So I ordered a new switch. I thought, it's only a switch, I'll just put another switch in it. Should have used one of those, of course, but I didn't. And so a new switch arrived, and I took it to bits and put the switch in, and it was the same, didn't work. So I sent it back to them, and they said, okay, it's not the switch, which of course it wouldn't have been anyway by that stage, but it's the service unit at the back of it, which is its electrical box of tricks. on the base plate there. And that'll be £90, thank you. Well, I think that was almost exactly what I paid for it in its bare state when it was new. And so I thought, no, I'm not doing it. And when I took it to bits too, I took it to pieces, I probably should say. I Googled it just in case anybody had any thoughts about it, like you do. I mean, maybe there's a weak point, maybe it's something that's prone to giving way with them. But there wasn't anything like that. But there were one or two arguments about Bosch online, and somebody said, well, they're made in Germany. And I thought to myself, well, it does say that on the tool, doesn't it? It says made in Germany. But I'd taken this one to pieces, and on the motor it says made in China. So it sort of begs a question that how many other components have they sourced from China to put this 4-inch angle grinder and all the rest of their range of tools together? I mean, the motor is not made in Germany, it is made in China. Quite definitely it says that on it. And so anyway, I thought, well, I'm not getting any more Bosch stuff. That's it. They'd always been quite good if I'd sent stuff back before, but I just don't believe the quality's there anymore. Just don't think that you can call something that's done about an hour's work professional. It isn't. You can charge a professional price for it. Doesn't make it a professional tool. So anyway, I thought, I wonder if I should get the Ryobi one. And I thought, well, I don't know. I've only got a few of these very small lithium batteries. And actually, I bought 3 of them to replace the old NiCad ones. And 2 of them are still working. But although Ryobi are quite a cheap tool to buy, the batteries aren't any cheaper than anybody else's batteries. Or at least in my experience they weren't. So I didn't really want to invest any more in that route. I wanted something a bit heavier duty, really. So anyway, I bought a load of Trend stuff. And the drill I just chucked in the bucket was one of them. This impact driver, which still works, that was another one. The 4-inch grinder and the circular saw also. And that's the route I went down. Well, they are Chinese. I mean, there's no 2 ways about that. In common with most stuff we're all buying on both sides of the Atlantic now, it is mostly Chinese. And I don't know whether there's a lot of stuff coming out of the same factories. It certainly looks like it with a lot of other gear. You see things badged under lots of different names, don't you? But it doesn't mean to say it didn't come out of the same factory. But anyway, while I'm on the subject of components for power tools, still got this big 240 volt Milwaukee pistol grip drill on the bench here, and this was quite an expensive article, and I bought it because there were times, particularly when you're doing building restoration, and you might need to drill a hole in an oak beam that's about 400 years old. That's going to be pretty tough by the time you get into the middle of it, and especially if you're trying to get out to the other side of it, you need a serious bit of kit to do that with. And anyway, I used it for a while, and then the capacitor went, and here it is, and it lives in the pistol grip handle underneath the switch. So when it first went, it went off with a bit of a bang, and it made the switch, it blackened the switch. I thought it was a switch at first, and then I could see that actually it was a capacitor that had blown. And so it made a bit of a mess. Anyway, got another one, and I was quite surprised by the price of it. I mean, it was about 30 quid back then, which is what would have been $40 then. And I replaced it anyway. I bought another one and I put it in there, and I didn't use the drill for a long time. And then when I got it out a couple of weeks ago and I had to drill, put a big auger into a part that on a boat, it blew again. The new one blew. Well, I say new, the second one. Anyway, I took the wrapping off it, put it in a safe place, and I actually did manage to find it the other day. And there it is. So it's pretty low value capacitor, and I don't really know what it's doing in there. One lead's going here to the motor, and one is going to that lead to that end of the coil, and one of those is split somewhere. There, I've got my finger on it. Yeah, it's there, and that one is going back to the switch. There. So I don't know what to do about this, really. I don't know if you've got any ideas about that. If you have, put it in. Let me know in the comments if you'd be so kind, because I'm a bit worried about putting another one back. I'm a bit worried actually about the drill costing me $40 every time I use it. That's what I'm bothered about, and it gets used infrequently. But when you do need it, it's a really good bit of kit to have. And incidentally, that the capacitor might have been made in China. It doesn't say it is. I mean, I've got no idea where they're made, but the drill certainly wasn't. The drill was American made, and by and large, American tools. Tools that are made in America are very good. You know, a lot of us over this side of the Atlantic appreciate that machinery and tools made in the States are very nearly as good as ours used to be. Let me put it like that. Anyway, in all seriousness, that's a good bit of kit. Apart from that, capacitor. And what's letting down these things? Who knows? I don't know. They need to be used a bit more, really. And I'm just hoping that I was unlucky with the drill in the bucket. I very much hope I was. But I've been lucky with other things. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, really. Let me know what you think in the comments. And look forward to hearing from you or seeing you again in the next video.